So, Ycs Niagara is next weekend, and with it being next weekend, it means that we haven't got long to test and prepare. The goal from this is to get me ready for Ycs Niagara next weekend. So, I'm unsure what to play. I'm in two minds, because I think Splite's really strong. I think it's really strong. I really like Danger Tearlaments. I really like it. I think it's just the best. I want to build Tearlaments. We got to start with the bad boys, right? The best cards. And obviously the Danger lineup. The Danger is literally what makes the deck. So Nessie is the card that should go to 1. We need to put Sneck and Jackalope. I definitely want to play at least a Bigfoot in the deck. I'm a huge fan of Mothman. It's a level 4. Works well with Time Thief. And also it helps you make Dweller. But also it's an insect. A material for Curious. I like Bigfoot. What have they done to Bigfoot here? What's this one do? Danger Response Team. Terrible. I want to play 3 Mothman. 3 Mothman, 3 Nessie, 1 Sneck, 1 Jackalope, 3 Bigfoot. So maths are we should draw at least 1 in our opening hand, potentially 2. I think there's no other Danger cards we would want to consider playing here. Okay, and now we need to go to the Tearlaments. I love this card. Haveness. It's where you can summon it during your opponent's turn. I think it's solid. Now, there's many ways to build this deck. We could play it with King of the Swamp. We could play it with Beast to make Shadow Winder, but we got a choice. Do we want to go with the Topologic Bomber line, or do we not want to go with that line? Chupacabra also fits in well, I think, because you mill a lot anyway. It does go well. Oh, you know, there is one card I want to play. What's it called? What's it called? Insect. Pole. Pole. I think it's Goki Pole. There it is. This is good. So what this does, if it gets sent to the graveyard, you can add Mothman to your hand. And if you just mill it. So I'm going to play that. Because we really need to resolve a Mothman here. What else will we benefit here? Zephyros. I think Blackwing Zephyros is really important. The ability just to bounce back a danger after you've used it is broken. And also it's a level 4. And it's a winged beast, so it helps your Curious lineup. Bomber line is insane, I agree. I like the Bomber lines too much not to consider playing it if I'm playing Tier. Which means we need to play Snow. Snow's level 4. This card should never have come back. Also, Gizmek. I love Gizmek. But I want to try something different here. I want to play Yugioh. Look at all these good cards. We're basically a mill deck, so we've got more ways to win now, and it's a Dark Dragon, which adds to Curious, makes it more busted. Who cares what life points we're on, right? Who cares what life we're on? If we have Bomber with infinite summons, we don't. Might as well play Grepher at that point. There we go, DC. DC knows. We might as well play Grepher at that point. And the cool thing about Grepher is you can if you discard Grepher. If you discard Nessie to summon Grepher, you get Nessie's effect to add Sneck or Jackalope, which then you can discard, summon, dump Gizmek or Yugioh or Zephyros, and then so you'll go then Nessie, discard Nessie, summon Grepher. Nessie will trigger, add you Jackalope. Discard Jackalope with Grepher's effect to send Zephyros. Jackalope will trigger, adding Sneck, summoning Sneck or Mothman, depends what level you need. Then you can bounce. I'd recommend getting Sneck, summon Sneck, bounce Sneck back to your hand because of Zephyros, and then you then have you can activate the Sneck, and then you have your warrior, your winged beast, and your Sneck to make Curious. Yo, Toon, what's up, man? It's been a while. How you doing? Dark Grepher. Hope you're well, brother. Dark Grepher. Okay, now it's looking good, right? And we're not even introduced any of the Tearlaments archetype into the deck. Also, Yugioh and Zephyros are really good in timeout too. Yeah, they're great. Yeah, of course. They're not very good in timeout. However, though, if you are quick, you'll be fine with that because they give you a ton of advantage. But the timeout is annoying because you're losing life points. But these cards are so crazy. And the cool thing is, if Yugioh goes, back to the bottom of the deck, so it's pretty solid. What else do we want to include here? Imagine including a lure. But there's nothing we really want to draw. We've got the dangers anyway. They're allowing us to draw cards. There's nothing here we really want to draw. So now we need to introduce the tier element lineup. What's essential here? Definitely 3 of these. This is so broken. We do want to include 3 of them. Definitely at least 1. Now I kind of want to max out ideally here. I'd like to max out on all, so play 9. This card's really good. I really like it with Elf. Sprite Elf. This card should be banned. They should ban this card. This card is so good. Not just for Splight. It shouldn't be generic. It should include a Splight monster. This card is going to be so good. It's so good now, but it's going to be used in nearly every deck moving forward that it has to get banned. This is the new Hulk. This is the new Hulk, guys. It's going to get banned. We're all going to be praying for this card to get banned in like 6 months. So, you hear it here first. Trick Clown or not? I don't think... No, Trick Clown's a light. It's not a dark. It is a good idea, and it's a level 4, actually. You know what? I really like that, actually, Trick Clown. But we're making the deck really... We're making it better going first and worse going second, aren't we? That's what we're doing here. Trick Clown. Okay, we'll put it in the side pile for now. We might consider this. Just kind of sent to the graveyard. You know what? I like it, bro. I like it. That's a good idea, Toon. Yo, Mass Villain, what's up? I don't know. I'm a tuber is much better than Tsukinoko. Yes, but this is a guaranteed summon, and we don't really care. But we want to open this rather than Chupacabra, right? If Chupacabra always summons to level 4, it's much better. I agree. However, though, Snack, we need it because it's a material towards Arcurious and it's a reptile. We don't have any other reptiles in the deck, really, so it's important. You max out on all of them. I wish we could max out on all the dangers, but there's no space. We're not going to have enough room for that. And we don't really need to max out. We just need to really resolve 1 danger summon, ideally. 2 is broken. 2 is perfect. But we don't want to play that many there where 2 becomes weaker. We need to build it in a way where 2 is perfect in this sort of version. If we keep adding dangers, then 2 isn't that as great as it would be. That makes sense. Most lists I've seen max out on all, maybe 2 Ryan. Yeah, I agree on max. Oh, you mean maxing out on Tearlaments? Sure. You could potentially cut Merrily to 1. Sorry, to 2. I wouldn't cut it to 1, but you could cut it to 2. Its combo with Elf and IP is like insane. This is important. So yeah, I do like Rhinoheart because it lets you make the boss fusion, which is this one, and I hope we have space for this. So we definitely need to include at least 2 of these. We might play this one. If we play this one, then we need to include at least 1 of these, which we could potentially play 2. But I might play 1 and Rota in the deck, but we're not on spells yet, so we're not working on the spells yet. Most lists will see max out on all. What's your opinion on Runic? Oh, DC, I love Runic stuff. I love it. I'm a huge fan. I'm trying to work on a version of Runic and splash the engine, because one of the fusions is level 4, and one's level 3, and one's level 2. So Splight and Tia could actually introduce them into the decks, and also let me show you. Chat, this is going to be valuable for you guys. Runic. So this is a new archetype that's just come out. Okay. Oh, we're getting a new guy. What's this guy? When an attack is declared involving this card in the extra monster zone, you can banish the top 2 cards from its deck. Knife Blade takes battle damage from battles involving this card. If this card in the field is destroyed with battle or card effect, you can take 1 Runic quick play in the graveyard, add it to your hand. Okay, the last effect to add a Runic spell is good. The other effect is never going to really come up because you're always skipping your battle phase, aren't you? So, this guy is important. It's a level 2, helps Splight. But this is the one that negates monster effects. Sorry, that's not one. Which one is it? This one? Put 1 special monster your opponent controls, destroy it, then banish up 2 cards. That's decent. I think it's this one then. Yeah. Target 1 effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn, then banish the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. So you can play a small engine with 3 Runic tip. You can play the fountain. You might not want to max out on the fountain because tip could search that, but you could do that. This is going to draw you more cards. But But if you're playing Runics with this, you can just draw infinite with Runics Fountain. So you could play free Fountain in this version. But I'm a huge fan of Runic stuff. I'm experimenting with it currently. And then when I know more about, like, when I want to share, like, all the stuff, I'll start sharing it on stream. I might consider playing a variation of it at the YCS next week. Which you might see things on the stream leading up to next weekend. It's a win more card. You really don't struggle getting level 4s on the board anyway. You're right. It's a win more card. I agree. No, not the dangers. I meant the tiers. Yeah, well, I get you now. Foolish. We're going to go on to the spells very shortly. If you have space, you can also try the Frog Engine. Don't think there's space here, but I do like the Frog Engine. I like Runic as a mine deck, but you can also just use it in Skull and Judgment with the Vanity's Fiend, really clutching people. No, guys, I think everyone's seeing the Runic stuff wrong. And the way I'm seeing Runics is it should be an engine you splash into a deck, not as a whole deck itself. So I think you're going to splash like 9 of the cards into your deck and put them with another deck like Splight or Tear or other deck archetypes. I don't see it as a complete deck yet. The other cool thing is you have the option of all the cards to summon from your extra deck as well, which is really important. Well, most of them anyway, to summon from your extra deck, which is really important. But look at most of the spells. They destroy monsters and negate their effects. They banish your opponent's top of your cards, top cards of your opponent's deck. It's broken. So there are going to be high variance times where you hit a Ronin Tone and banish it from play. You're going to hit a Gizmek, banish it from play. You're going to banish a Snow from play. Right now, that's really valuable in the current meta game. So don't sleep on the Runic stuff. I think Tactical Masters as a set now, which people aren't really buying into. But when you hear and see more Runic stuff being played, everyone is going to be buying Tactical Masters. And that set's going to go up and get more expensive. So my advice is buy some boxes or buy a case and seal it. Keep it sealed, keep it away, and then sell it because it will go up. I don't think there's a big print run on it as well because it wasn't expected to sell that much. But you get a lot of Droll Birds in there. The set's good. Set's good. What more can I say? But I'm a huge fan of the Runic stuff. I don't like the Labyrinth. I don't like the other archetype stuff. It's only the Runic stuff that I like. I see it as a complete deck with mine being... No, but mine's going to get banned very soon. Hani decided to play Spell Canceller to SS back with number 60. Thoughts? Yeah, no, I was going to play Spell Canceller at Euros, and I was saying to the group that we should play Spell Canceller in our deck if we're playing Punk, because it's very easy to summon. You could play it in this, yeah, and make number 60 and summon back Spell Canceller, yeah, because every deck is playing all the broken spells. So you could do that. We could put that in the side pile, actually. I like introducing it into this, especially in this version. But again, what we're doing here, chat, is we're making the deck better. We're making the deck better going first. We're making it worse going second. And what's that going to do to us? It means we're going to struggle going second more often, and we're creating more variance in a tournament. Does that make sense? We want to reduce the variance in a tournament, and we want to consistently win each every round, regardless if we win the dice roll or lose it. Okay, that's what's really important here. Number 60, yeah? Oh, number 60 is so insane. Alright, so we need to decide we're playing Rhino Heart. We don't decide right now. We could actually just completely cut it, make more space in the extra deck, and I probably prefer that. So, what should we look into next? The spells? Are we ready to move on to the spells? I've got my version here built up. Now Triff is playing the adventure package in his deck, and he explains how broken it is because Water Enchantress is insane, and I get it. I actually like it. I like that Illegal Knights of Dark. It actually makes your deck better going second as well. You're always going to mill Enchantress, so it's something we could play. Something we could introduce. Is there space? Maybe. So, adventure. Now, I'd only play one right. Do you play Dracoback? You could play Dracoback. It's a way to get rid of cards. Fateful as well is annoying if you mill it. Now, this is an engine. Look at how many cards this engine takes up. 2 rights? Why? You always highly like to mill a Water Enchantress, and Water Enchantress can add right from the graveyard. So we're not bothered about milling it, okay? We don't really mind that. All right, so spells now, right? Obviously, the daddy, Foolish Burial. This card should be banned. We should ban this card. We want field spell. Now, do we actually want free field spell here, chat? Think about it. There's a high. We've got a highly likely. We've got a high chance of opening tier cards. Okay. We don't want to be drawing 2 of these in our opening hand. Now, if we're not playing dangers, we absolutely do not want to be drawing 2 of these. However, because we're playing dangers, we actually might want to play 3 because we're like, if we open 2, we could reveal a danger, hit 1, and then we could play. But doing that line into the going second into the Splite board with Toad, it's much worse for us. We might not want to do that. If we were playing, well, I really want to play 1 Fusion Substitute. Because we can then banish Fusion Substitute. And then put a fusion back and trigger this guy to destroy something. And this plays around Mystic Mine, right? It gives us a Mystic Mine out. Because as long as we have a fusion in the grave, this will trigger. Now we definitely want to include Galaxy Cyclone. But this depends on how popular. This depends on how popular we're going to see Mystic Mine and Beat Cop moving forward. Okay, because it's going to be a problem. Which gives more value to Spell Canceller, which is something we might want to consider. 2 rights is also correct if you want to take out Runic as well as a War deck. It's true. Yeah, everyone that's following, appreciate you all. Hope you enjoy the content, guys. If you're going to play free, play 2 field, 1 terraforming, so you can use Terra, and it removes a field spell from the deck, so you have a higher chance to mill the cards you want. You do, but later on, if you're milling first before having this, then it'd be an issue. In some ways, I agree, but now we're giving Droll more power, and I know Droll's not being played right now, but I think it's actually correct. I think it's correct now to start including Droll into your deck, into your side deck at least, anyway. Mystic Mine only won the last 4 events. I wouldn't really see it as something to acknowledge in the main. Oh, come on. High Rate Draw and Vivitail are really interesting for Mystic Mine. Vivitail has been quite good for me. Vivitail, what's Vivitail? So chat, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build the best tier element deck as of right now, leading up to next week, and then we can make we can start testing it on stream, and then we can make it better, ready for Ycs Niagara. Okay, Vivitail, is this a troll? Target 1 card you control, return it to the hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 face-up card you control. Set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field, and if you do, return that face-up card to the hand. But for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate card effects or cards with the same name that card was returned to the hand. That is interesting. It's interesting. It's got IP on it. Interesting. Okay. Right, so if we aren't including... Okay, I want to include Rota. But if we're including Rota, we have to include one of these at least. I'm actually not against... I think we have to at least include one of these. If we're not playing the adventure package, we have to include this. If we are playing the adventure package, we're taking out Reinhardt, we're taking out Rota, we're going to add these in. We're probably going to take out one of these as well. We're probably going to take out the Fusion Substitute. But this is just giving us more ways to out Mystic Mine, even if they do have Beat Cup. We'll have Fusion Substitute and Galaxy Cyclone. Alright, what's next? Instant Fusion. This card should be banned as well. This deck is just insane with it. This into this straight away to then search this, which lets us mill 8 cards. It's just a broken combo. So we'll play Instant Fusion. What other cards do we need next? Now, we could play Super Poly. I'm not a huge fan of Super Poly. A lot of players now are playing around it. A lot of players are playing around Super Poly now, chat. What do you think? We definitely need to include Dark Ruler. But we're getting really close to the 40. To 40. I don't think we need to include Beast and play Shadow Winder. I think that's just crazy. 2 Galaxy Cyclone because it beats the Beat Cop combo. Well, if you read Galaxy Cyclone, you only can use the last effect of the card once per turn. So if they have enough in Mystic Mine, well, we have to then remove the counter. Then the following turn we have to banish it again. And if that's the case, then I'd rather just have a fusion substitute, one of those and one of these, rather than 2 of these. Okay, now what else are we going to include next? So we've got $3 no more. Now, do we want to include the Tearlaments trap? I think we do want to include at least one. The reason why is we want to search the one that we can summon from our hand during our opponent's turn to trigger Bomber Dragon. Bomber Dragon and Dweller is the kind of play we want to end here with. Now, do we want to play 2? A lot of lists are playing 2 of these cards. We've got a choice. If we play 2, is there any downside to it? Yeah, it makes our go second hands worse, but it makes our going first hands much better because we're likely to mill one, which is broken, and then we can have one as backup to negate a card, but we don't really need 2, I reckon. I'd rather make space for something else. Now, so far, it's looking really consistent, really solid. We're just missing 3 cards. Now, I have seen the list play Impermanence, which is probably okay. The reason why I like the adventure package is it puts bodies on board, but also we have Draco back and we have Griffin. But also a Legal Knight is a Dark Fiend, which means we can make Curious much easier with this. We could introduce Spell Canceller. I do like that as well. We are rarely normal summoning, so we could play 1 Spell Canceller. It's going to be good if we mill it, and it'd be good if we open it, because we're always going to have a way to summon it. But again, it makes our going first hands better and our going second hands worse. So now we need to maybe we need some more going second cards. We probably do want to include Super Poly here. It sounds a bit crazy, but I think we do. We don't have many good going second cards. We probably want to play 3 Dark Ruler and 3 Super Poly here. And then we want to cater our side deck to more beating going second rather than going first, because our deck's already really good going first. I hope all this is making sense, but this is the way I'd approach building Tearlaments. Talents have been working well for me in this deck. That is interesting. That is interesting. Talents. Talents. I think we're going to go with Super Poly. I do like the idea of talents, but again, that would be that would be really weak going first because no one's really playing hand traps. Splight now have adapted to playing more going second cards. They realize hand traps aren't very good in the current format with Mystic Mine everywhere. So I do think Super Poly is correct here. I do like having the fusion substitute just because it works really well with the field spell. And this is probably why I'm not going to play terraforming over 3 of these and 1 terraforming and 2 of them. It's just in case we mill multiple, we're creating more variance in the game, which I know it sounds like it's less likely to happen, which it is, but there are going to be 1 or 2 games during a YCS where that would come up. Is Gamma played a lot still? Then one of Change is good. You mean Change of Heart? Gamma is played, but it's not being played as much as it was before. Okay, now we need to look at the extra deck. Obviously, we need Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is the best level 4 right now. Redoer. Just to trigger our Tearlaments. This is why I like one of these. Remember, Rota can search this or Grepher, and that's really important here for the combo. We have some of the best spells in the game. We have Foolish, we have Instant Fusion, we have Reinforcements of the Army. There's a reason why all these are at 1. We do then want to include obviously want to include IP. Bomber Dragon. Zoroboros. Also want to include Curious. Now, Curious should have been banned years ago. When the danger of FTK first became real. Then we want to include the TCG exclusive. Makes our Super Poly better. Also, Super Poly makes the mirror match much easier as well. So if our opponent who play Splight are playing incorrectly and not playing around Super Poly, it means that matchup's much easier for us. But I don't think this deck struggles that much against Splight, really, unless you're against a very, very good Splight player and you open average. And against the mirror match, you just make the mirror match much easier. So this is the way I'd probably approach it right now. We do want to include the Dark Charmer, obviously. Dark Charmer is just too good right now. Redoer. The question is, do we really need 2 kit? Do we really need 2 of these? I do think so moving forward if we're playing 10 tier element monsters. Especially 9 of them make which fusion. And it's really good with Bomber Dragon. Because if we then go Elf, if we go have Elf and IP, we go Chainlink 1 Elf to summon, we go Chainlink 2 IP to link. We link then into Bomber Dragon. And then when Bomber Dragon summons, because Alpha is Chainlink 1, Alpha would then summon back our Mary. There would then mill 3. Chainlink 1 will be Bomber Dragon because it's mandatory. This will be Chainlink 2 or mill 3. No problem. It doesn't really matter what we mill. And then Bomber Dragon will blow up the main monster zone. Then this will trigger Fusion summoning into another Kit. Then Kit will then add us this to our hand. Okay, and then now this is just a ticking time bomb for our opponent to blow up the board again. And then we could put Kit underneath Bomber Dragon, trigger Bomber again, and mill 5. So I do like 2 Kit in this deck. Now we have a choice. Do we want to play Clado Heart? This card's really solid. If Nibiru is more popular now, chat, if Nibiru gets more popular in the format, then we need to play this. Because we can then start playing lines where we're setting up Clado Heart. And it then is solid because it will trigger under Nibiru, of course. And it will allow us to play for our opponent. And the only decks now really playing Nibiru is Splight. Okay, so if Splight have they struggle getting past this, unless they have Sky Cavalry. Sky Cavalry clears this quite well. Other than that, they're going to struggle getting rid of it. And they're forced to use their smashes on this card. So because most Splight lists are only playing 1 smashes, it means that if they're using it on this, it's a win already. Okay. Right, which else do we need to include? We've got Mud Dragon, of course. Mud Dragon's really popular. But also, it's a really good target for Super Poly. So far, everything in the extra deck is spot on. Now, I kind of like playing... I like Hanny's idea with the number 60 and playing Spell Canceller. I really like this. I never really considered playing Spell Canceller in this, only in Punks for Euros, if I did play it. But I like it with number 6. Number 60 is insane. Card is insane. Anyway, a card like Cross Sheep can be utilized. But why? What would we get from Cross Sheep here? Let's think about it. Let's talk about it. Cross Sheep. Okay, so 2 monsters with different names. If a monster is special summoned to a zone, this card points to apply the following effect. Okay, so if we're applying the following effect, Fusion. Special on 1 level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. Cool, alright. But the only thing that we might want to summon here is Rhino Heart or Rhino Heart, because then we can then dump another name. I don't think we'd get true value from this. I think we'd rather make another Elf or an IP here than Crush Sheep, and it just takes up too much space, so we're not going to play that. Okay, so we have Mud Dragon. We want the Predaplant Dragostalia. This is really good against Splight. It's good at recycling your extra deck monsters as well. So putting your fusions back into your deck. So you then never run out of materials. So you can just keep looping, basically. And then your extra deck is always filled with fusion monsters. So as long as you manage your resources correctly, you're going to be fine. This is why you have to absolutely play Dracostalia in your extra deck above all. And again, against Splight, it's insane because it negates the monster and it reduces the level so they can't summon any Splight monsters from their hand. And you need to think about it. We're playing a YCS. What decks are we going to be mostly playing against? Splight and Tearlaments. So we need to build the best deck possible for a YCS. We're not playing a locals. We're not playing a regionals. We're playing a tournament where the best players travel to where they play the best decks. So we can't make mistakes here. So we need to make sure we're playing all the best cards. Okay, so now we have 13 cards in our extra deck. And we can't make a mistake with the last two. We cannot make a mistake with the last two. So we could add in here. We could add in number 60 and play Spell Canceller. And then we could potentially remove a card from the main deck. And then play the Spell Canceller combo. But again, the issue with that is we're making our deck better going first rather than going... we're making it weaker going second, so we need to fix that. Appaloosa is interesting. I actually like the idea of Appaloosa, because if we go like, if we already have Bomber Dragon out and we have IP up, we can then Bomber Dragon, bring back IP from the. So yeah, we could then go Bomber Dragon, bring back IP to a different zone, trigger IP, summon Appaloosa. It's protected from being destroyed, and have Appaloosa underneath the Bomber Dragon. So we could play Appaloosa here. That's a card that could definitely be played. Any other suggestions, chat? And then we'll go on to the side deck. Baguska. I don't like Baguska. We can't play Baguska. Do we want to play Zeus? Is Zeus a card we want to play? Are we likely to benefit from playing Zeus in this format? We could add in Zeus, but is it really good right now? Is that something that we should play? We could play Exciton Knight and nuke the board, but I don't really like that, to be honest. So now here, I probably would just lean to playing this and locking this 15. Yes, that means we're only one of these, so now we can cut all these. Okay, so now we got our extra deck and now we got our main deck. We now need to work on the side deck. How would we build the side deck, chat? Zeus is pretty lit, but we've already. Zeus is nice. Zeus, especially with Dark Ruler, we could go Zeus. We can go Dweller and then Zeus and nuke the board. And with no hand traps in the format, that is probably an option here. So I would definitely consider Zeus. And that's probably the 16th slot. And after testing, we then can remove one of the 15 cards to allow the 16th slot to make a space, which might lead us to cutting this. So Zeus should be the next automatic inclusion in the deck. Okay, so now we need to look at side deck. I think Evenly Matched is a card that we just need to consider now, especially with Rika being played. The card's really good against that deck, and also it's good against a lot of the back row decks, burn decks. And it really allows us to swing the game when we go second. Now, we got a choice. This deck really does utilize Lava Golem and Sphere Mode quite well. That's something we definitely should consider here in this list. So we need to decide, do we want to play just free Sphere Mode, free Lava Golem, or do we want to include both? So we need to decide which ones do we want to play here. Now, So what do you think, chat? No, I like the inclusion here. I do think the format, the way it is going, Sphere Mode is more beneficial. But so is Lava Golem. Lava Golem is really good against Tearlaments, where Sphere Mode is really good against Splight. I'm unsure here. I'm unsure. So I'm going to go with Lava Golem for now. And if I feel like we should change this, then I will add in Sphere Mode as well as Lava Golem, or over Lava Golem. Now there's an insect card we need to play. This card is designed for time, unfortunately. Splight players now are siding Red Resonator. And the Tearlaments now are siding this bug card. It's a card when it gets sent to the graveyard, deal 1,000 life points to your opponent, or you gain 1,000 life points. I'm unsure. It's called Mass something. Chat. What's it called now? Let me find out. It's Skullmark Ladybug. That's the card. Unfortunately, until the time rules are changed, we have to include this into the deck. Let me try and find it. Where's Mark Ladybug, right? This one. Here we go. So when this card is sent to the graveyard, increase your life points by 1,000. Now there's something that you need to note here. Gokipole can search it. So if we have we're basically essentially playing 2 of these. So this is an automatic inclusion to the deck. So it's there. You'll see players and deck profiles brush past it and not explain why they're playing it, but there you go. That's the reason. And also, don't feel bad about playing these cards. The way I see it is, players take way too long comboing off, making the plays because they've not practiced with their deck, which penalizes you. So, there you go. All right. So far, I really like the deck. We're getting there. Now, we need to include something else. We need to start including some back row removal. Now, Lightning Storm is quite popular. Lightning Storm is a card where a lot of players are committing a lot of cards and going second. It's a really good going second card. So because our deck's so good at going first, we now want to include more going second cards. We have Evenlings, we have Lava Golems. Cool. What's good at going second? Should we include Lightning Storm or should we include Cosmic? Cosmic does play around the beat cop scenario, but they're more likely to do that when we go first. So I do think in some way we should include a Cosmic at some point. So yeah, I guess we need anti-spell, such trap, mainly for mine. Yes, we do. We need some removal. So here I would probably play Lightning Storm. Now, I really like Dimensional Barrier. But usually, though, if we go first, we should be winning. This is more of a card where if they do stop us with, like, Dark Pool and more. Now, Red Reboot is an essential card we need to include. Shout out to Oliver Newton. He loves this card. And then... now we can include a Pankratops here. That's a potential card we could include. Twin is auto win against both most times. I like the idea of a Cosmic and 2 twins. 1 Panks or Harpies. So we've got to choose Pankratops or Harpies Feather Duster. Pankratops really good against Splight, so I think we're going to go with Pankratops over Harpies. Now this answers to the Toad and Elf problems that we have, so I think Pankratops makes more sense. Imperm is a good shout for Abyss Dweller. That's going to be a problem as well. We could look at including Chalice, or we could include Droplets in this deck. We actually don't mind just sending cards to the graveyard with Droplets. Yeah. So this is how I would look at it right now. This is the Tearlament deck, and then I would then slightly change it. The side deck can be tweaked. What we will do is we'll start testing with the list, see if it works well, and we'll go from there. Guys, I hope this makes sense in terms of Tearlaments. We will be building Splight in a different stream, and we'll be testing Tearlaments, and then we'll be testing Splight. Then we'll be commentating over the Oceanic Continentals this weekend, leading up next week until Ycs Niagara.